Okay, you have your NFL Week 14 power rankings. So number 10, I have the Seattle Seahawks back on this list. It's a good game versus the Rams. Definitely closer than I would have liked, but Geno Smith, he had a clutch drive to DK Metcalf, and the Seattle Seahawks offense after a 2 week skid, they look great against the Rams, even though the Rams aren't great. Their defense still could be playing better. They allowed 23 points in a late Rams score. Um, Against a not a good Rams offense, but Geno Smith is still playing great right now, and their offense is definitely rolling. Their defense has to get back to form though. And number 9, I have the Baltimore Ravens down one spot. Very ugly game, very ugly game against the Broncos. Ravens defense did really well, but against a really bad Broncos offense. The Ravens offense though pretty much got shut out by the Broncos. Lamar Jackson got injured early on, and Huntley, other than that last drive, was just bad. The whole offense was bad outside of that last game-winning drive. Their defense right now is probably keeping them in the top 10 because without Lamar Jackson, I'm not sure how well their offense will do, especially with the lack of receivers and Mark Andrews having a down year. Right now, if they're gonna win the division, it's gonna be off their defense. Number 8, I have the Miami Dolphins down 3 spots. Not a very pretty game against the Niners. Tua was definitely off due like many balls that were way too high. Their defense didn't do great against Brock Purdy. Allowed 23 points to him, and and not a pretty win. But it was a West Coast game. It didn't have home field advantage, and Tua was definitely off. But their Dolphins offensive line played well against a San Francisco um, good San Francisco defensive line, and their defense had their moments, but they have to be more consistent, and and they have a huge game versus the Chargers next week. And number 7, I have the Minnesota Vikings staying where they are. The first half they pretty much dominated against the Jets. I think they had a 20-3 lead, but they let the Jets come back after they and the Jets almost won, if not for a fourth down pick. And the Vikings, they just keep on winning close games, which is probably keeping them from the top 5. Their offense can be explosive at times. Their defense can be great at times, like in the first half against the Jets, where their defense played great. Their offense was good, but in the second half, their defense kind of let their foot off the gas, so did their offense. The Vikings, they just have to put together a full game. They're letting these games be way too close right now, but overall they still have a very talented team. And then number 6, I have the San Francisco 49ers staying where they are. Their defense played great against a very explosive Dolphins offense. Tua did not have a good game versus them. Their defensive line had a good game. Defense pretty much carried them against the Dolphins. Their offense, they did what they needed to do. Christian McCaffrey had a great game, his best game since getting traded over. Um, still Brock Purdy had a good game, but I'm not sure how sustainable that is. Him being Mr. Irrelevant, and if they want to hang with those like Super Bowl contenders, you're gonna need a QB. Your team only goes as far as your QB goes, like the Titans last year, and they do have a ton of talent on both on offense and defense, but without a good quarterback, we don't know if Purdy could be a good quarterback, but we don't know that. So without proven quarterback, your team can't go far, which is keeping me from putting them in the top 5. And then number 5, I have the Cincinnati Bengals up 4 spots. They beat the Chiefs. Joe Burrow had a great fourth quarter. Overall, their team offense played good, but they were great in clutch situations. Couple passes to Higgins, to Chase. Pirine had a great game, and their defense slowed down Mahomes. Mahomes did not have a very good game. Um, their defense, to me, is still one of their better units, and their offense is definitely heating up again. Cincinnati Bengals right now, I think they're one of the hot teams. I think they can very easily win this division. And then number 4, I have the Buffalo Bills keeping where they are. A good win over the Patriots on Thursday nighter. They started out a bit slow. Their defense started out a bit slow, but then they picked it up in after the first quarter. The offense played good against a good Patriots offense. Defense played good, even losing Von Miller. It was just a very balanced win for a Super Bowl contender, where both the offense is good and the defense is good. Definitely, Bills after their 2-game slump looks like they've recovered. And number 3, at the Dallas Cowboys, just an absolute thrashing of the Colts. They did run up the score in the fourth quarter, and it was tight for 3 quarters. But their offense and defense is looking great. Prescott has got a turn down those interceptions a little bit though. But their run game is great, and their overall defense this season has just been great. Cowboys probably have like top five defense and like a top 10 offense. And like I said, that Zeke and Pollard is a great run game. They have a great offensive line, and Prescott is good but doesn't have to do much. And number two, I have the Kansas City Chiefs down one spot, lost to the Bengals. Their defense actually played. I think they played well outside of the fourth quarter. They slowed down Burrow for them for a little bit. They couldn't stop Pirine, and their offense still did not do well against a good Bengals defense. Mahomes had an off game. Pacheco did well-ish. This they just still can't beat the Bengals right now, but they're still one of the top teams. They just had a slightly off game on offense. And then the teams that drop out, obviously, have the Titans. They got absolutely crushed by the Eagles in every way possible. Their offense could not do anything. Derrick Henry got shut out, and their defense could not do anything. They just got absolutely blown out. At number one, I still have the Philadelphia Eagles, who blew out the Titans. Everything was firing. Even when their run game was not working, Jalen Hurts could still throw it. Throw a lot of touchdowns. Their defense shut down Henry, shut down Tannehill. Definitely a shutdown defense right now. And the Eagles, great, probably top 5 offense and defense. Definitely a Super Bowl contender, and they're back on number one. So there you have them, NFL Week 14 power rankings.